This is your Daily 5 for Monday, March 30th, 2026. For the final full week of Milla March, we're doing something a little bit different in that all the movies for this week are ones that neither Lando or I have ever seen. Heard of, but not actually seen in any capacity. So we started off with the most recent of all the movies we're going to be watching, which is a film from last year titled Worldbreaker. And this is a movie that I've seen some good and some really weirdly bad descriptions for. My particular way of describing it in general is an oral history of a coming-of-age story amongst a monster invasion, which is not a description I use very often. It's a very singular film. It's very tough to actually talk about it without spoiling it, but we're going to do that on Friday, so I'm going to do my best here. This movie, I remember vaguely hearing about this movie, but not ever seeing a trailer or anything else, and I never watched a trailer or anything. I looked at a couple of reviews, because I saw on IMDb, it's hovering around like a 4.5, 4.8 rating, something in there, which I'll just tell you right up front, like Future World, I find is a very, very inaccurately low score, which should give you an idea of where we're headed. The movie itself, I would, if we're doing, because I don't like 1 to 10, but it is kind of a good way to give you a sense of the entertainment level, at least to me, which I ended up liking this movie, I think, slightly more than Lando did, which is sort of weird because, in essence, this movie really is a father and daughter story where this young woman is losing the last of what childhood she had as the world is basically being ravaged by these creatures that have emerged from underneath the ice, or, as global warming has thawed the crust, these things have now emerged from it, and everybody is trying to figure out how to fight them. And they are particularly lethal, well, in a sense, I guess, against men. So women have ended up being the warriors because they are more resistant to the infection that these creatures bring. And so this individual, his wife, Milla plays the wife, the mother of this young woman. The mother stays behind to lead the forces in whatever part of the world they're in. It's clearly not America, but I don't know where exactly. I don't think they actually named where it was, but it's European somewhere. And so she stays behind with the majority of the female-led army to try to keep these things from overwhelming what's left of the earth. And the father takes the daughter to a secluded island to raise her and train her to be ready to take her mother's place as a warrior at some point. And that's the majority of the movie, which some people had a large problem with. I did not. I didn't find the young woman to be a bad actress at all. I thought that the interplay between her and, I believe it's Luke Evans is the father, I thought that it was very well done. Lando actually said it was very accurate to how young women are. I don't have kids, so I can't speak to that. I really only had 1 or 2 problems with some of the story decisions, and Lando seems to think that that's something that is not out of the realm for children. I said, okay, that's fine, so he'll talk about that. Outside of that, though, I found this to be an entertaining movie. I really think that its rating on IMDb, which, again, to go back to Future World, is inaccurate. This is certainly not a movie I would put under a 5. In fact, I think that I wouldn't put it under a 6. This is a film where I would probably never rewatch this on my own. But if somebody had said, oh, I know you watched that Worldbreaker movie and I've been interested in it, do you want to watch it? I would watch it again if somebody else wanted to watch it. If my wife was interested in it, which I don't think she would be, but if she said, oh, this looked like an interesting movie, do you feel like watching this? I would watch it again. Would I ever sit down myself and revisit it the way I do some of my favorite movies? No, because it's a very specific type of movie. And in some ways, and this will sound strange, but when we get into it on Friday, this might make more sense. I actually think the movie works better as something that you see once and think back on. I think it's more thematically accurate to what the movie is trying to accomplish as being this kind of tale that's retold, this story that you remember, even if all the details aren't specifically accurate to what actually happened. And I think the movie does a good job of achieving that. So I don't want to oversell it. It's not the best movie I've ever seen, but it is certainly not a below 5 movie. I think for a lot of people, this would probably be an entertaining film. So if you were ever at all interested, you remember seeing this and thinking, oh, maybe I'll watch that, I think you should make the time to do it, because at least once, I think a lot of people will be entertained by it. Later.